Urfreshtv Sports, V10 here. And we've got another guest from the grassroots scene. He's been a player, he's now a manager. He's managed at a lot of clubs, I think maybe he's at 2 or 3, but I know he's at Three Bridges and now he's at South Park. He's got a very good reputation with the players within our Sunday League community and in young players in general, from my understanding. And it's Martin Dynam from South Park. How you doing, Martin?
All good, Keys, all good. Thanks for having me on here.
No problem at all, man. How's pandemic treating you, bro?
Do you know what? First couple of weeks or first month or so, I see everyone on this fitness stuff. I was like, die. Shook it off, sort of thing. And then I don't know what I see. I see Gary Alexander, the Glebe manager.
Okay.
Lost a load of weight. So sort of dropped him a message like, mate, what are you doing to lose this weight? Because he played pro and he was trim. Yeah. And he went into management, piled it on.
Yeah.
And I thought the same thing. I thought, hang about it. Since I've been managing, I've probably put on about 2 stone here. Okay. Maybe a stone and a half. And I thought, so I messaged him and he's like, mate, get on these shakes in the morning, shakes in the afternoon. And I thought, you know, let me give it a go. And I've lost a stone in 3 weeks.
Seriously? So, what shakes that? I might need that, bro.
I jumped on a Herbalife, mate. So just because my life's pretty manic, where I leave my house at 7 in the morning, I don't get home till 4, and in that space, I'm in my office, I'm out in the car, I just never stop. When I do stop, I probably spend about £10 in Greggs and fill my face.
Yeah, it's just impulse eating, isn't it? Because you're hungry and you just want to...
I wait till I'm starving, and then I just eat a load of rubbish, mate. So it sort of give me a bit of...
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, sorry, go on.
No, fine. Just give me a bit of structure to my eating. I eat at breakfast now, I have a little snack, then I'll eat at lunch, have a snack, and then I've got dinner, and that's me done.
Yeah, no, Jason Thompson, one of my friends, he was trying to put me onto the Herbalife, and I was thinking...
Who, Jason? The one that used to be at Guildford?
Yeah. Lethal left foot. He was trying to put me onto the Herbalife, so it's really good. It's something I've been considering, but now I've heard this, I think it's like reinforcement. I may have to try that.
So. I'll send you after this, right? I'm not going to put it online. I'll show you my before and after photos.
Do you know, you look, I can see it in your face, to be honest with you, from the podcast days. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I lost that derby. I looked 6 months pregnant, mate.
Listen, this is why the camera cuts off right here, bro, because this is... that's just, I only look good from the neck up now, bro. It's not a good look. But
nah.
Let's jump straight into the football, man. So, like, obviously, your first year at South Park, how you found it?
It was weird, really, because any other time, if I've moved in between seasons, I've only done it as a player. So you haven't got to manage a whole squad. I went into South Park in February, I think it was. Yeah. February or November, one of the two. I think it was November I went there. And we ended in March. It was weird because the manager hadn't left because he got sacked because they were struggling. He left to go on to a bigger club at Burgess Hill. Okay. So he sort of, to the outside, he left a great squad there, but some players had left and wanted to go and play for him. Some players went back to the teams that they'd been loaned from. Yeah. So it's a case of getting in and I already pitched myself to the club to get the job. I then had to go and pitch myself to the squad to keep him in. Okay. Because one of the first things I wanted to make sure was I wasn't coming here to disband everyone, to get rid of them and bring in my own lot.
Yeah.
It was
that's the stigma attached to manager change, though, really, isn't it? Everyone automatically presumes, okay, he's going to get rid of us and bring his own players in.
Yeah, I've been there and played for gaffers when gaffers have left or, you know, been sacked, and you think, I'm gone now. I now need to go and quickly find a club, so you sort of start making phone calls. Whereas I had to get the message across straight away. So in my interview, I was like, look, if you've got an inkling that I'll be about or whatever else, just let the squad know that the gaffer you've got coming, you haven't got to say my name. He's not going to look to get rid of players. I needed to act quickly.
Yeah.
So when I got in, it was a case of, look, trying to stabilise what we had there and reassure players I weren't going to get rid of anyone. And then when I saw what I had players playing that position. I had attacking players playing full back and all sorts of, like, right, I'm going to be straight with you boys. I'm going to get this position in, this position in, this position in. And that's where we sort of went with it. We had some great results. And then, you know, what happens at this level and most levels, if you put these results together, the vultures come around, the bigger clubs come around. We lost 4 players in a month. It killed.
Really? 4 players in 1 month?
I lost a striker and 3 centre midfielders, yeah.
Wow, that's not easy to take, man, because then...
No, it was hard. unsettled us. And then we went on a run of losses. Now, the losses, we weren't getting battered, barring one game against Bracknell. We were losing by the odd goal, and it was frustration because I knew what we needed to do it. And it was getting to that point in the season when it was like March or February. It's like, what sensible players going to move clubs now?
Yeah,
they're not going to do it.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's slim pickings around those times, really, because players are either just comfortable and want to see the season out, or they're fighting for like titles at a club or relegation. So it's like,
the only players you're going to get then are the players that bounce around.
Yeah, and then it's kind of risky as well from a manager's perspective, because you know those type of players. No disrespect to anyone out there, but if things get hard, you know that it's a good probability they might just say, do you know what, let me just sack it off for the season or go to another club. And it's difficult because managers need consistency and loyalty, I would imagine. I've never been a manager. Yeah,
and I take risks. When I was with my brother, so I started off managing, I was assistant manager or player assistant manager at Guildford. It all started there. Yeah. And then I sort of saw how it was, and I've been around decent clubs at decent levels, and I couldn't be a part of it anymore. Things were happening, conversations were happening, and I was like, I can't be a part of this. I don't want this attached to me. So I stepped down and left it. And I went and played football. Where did I go for? I think I just went to my brother, actually. He was at Whiteleaf. And I said, look, I'll come down. I'm not really fussed about playing. My knees are playing me up anyway, but I'll come down and be part of your management. So he said, look, come and be my assistant manager. So I went in with him. And then Fisher come in and said, look, see us out for the rest of the season. So I went down there, played the rest of the season with them, and then got a phone call in the summer, and it was Three Bridges. Said, look, I'd played for Three Bridges. Look, come down. We've seen you've had a little stint in management. I've been here long enough. I've had enough of it. Come in and be my assistant manager. If you get us, if you're part of us and we get promoted, you've got the job. Okay. So that's how it went. So then, as soon as I got the management job, I thought, do you know what? I want to give those that I know are good enough a chance to prove that they can stay at a club for a year, 2 years, and prove these other people, like manage the bad kids. Yeah. Be that, you know, that teacher you have in the room down the corridor where he has all the naughty kids sent to him during lesson time. Be that person and try and connect to them, because I've been in and around these boys. I played with like Frenchie. I understood what made him tick, and there was other managers that sort of thought that he would jump through hoops. He's not going to jump through hoops because you're giving him X amount of money. He'll jump through hoops. He's getting that respect and that understanding. It's helped being a mate as well. I'm not gonna lie. It helped being a mate. I think he was on his way when I signed him. He was on his way to Haywards Heath on the M23. I got through to him, and he'd come off the junction or a couple of junctions early and come to us and sign for us. Okay, so what, did you know Frenchie when you was a player yourself? Then is that how you two met? Yeah, I played with him at Walton Casuals. I got him down at Guildford as well to play. Okay. He's a proper. Frenchie's a quality player, man. Like I really rate him highly, man. And Frenchie went through a phase after Walton Casuals. So that was like 2013. He went through a phase where he's getting not knockbacks, but I think he was just misunderstood. And he sort of went rouse and sort of put a bit of weight on. He went and played for Molesey, come to Guildford, and he was carrying timber. You're never going to get that of him. Put him in front of goal. Like, you chop up his dinner, he'll finish it. But Frenchie likes to create his own goals. So the weight he's dropped recently, he's looking sharp. He's looking a much better player. And I was upset for him last season. Because I was like, mate, at the pre-season time, I never had a club, and I was like, knuckle down and stay at the same club. But it's all well and good, knuckle down and stay at the same club. If you're not playing for the right manager, it won't work. Yeah, exactly. And it's something that I feel like as a player, that should be your main goal. Is this a manager I can play for? Because sometimes, this isn't about Frenchie specifically, but just players that I know in general. And even myself, when I was playing, it's like the first question is like, how much am I getting paid? And it's more about the money rather than am I going to enjoy my football under this manager? Do you know what I mean? Mate, I've been guilty of it. Yeah. I've done it. I left. I didn't fall out with Spencer at Farnborough, but I didn't see myself. I've done the whole pre-season with him in the main centre half and blah, blah, blah. And I sort of see myself sliding out of it. And I thought, do you know what? I can live with it. I just got to have the conversation with him and go. And it turns out the player I lost my place to is Tom Broadbent, who just won the league with Swindon. So anyway, so then I was leaving, and then my brother had met Dean Thomas, that Guildford manager, and then a phone call later, he said, look, they'll take you. I said, yeah, but I'm going all the way to Guildford for peanuts and all that. He said, just have a conversation. So I was guilty of it. I got on the phone. I didn't do any research on him. I didn't know that he hadn't managed at a level before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that he'd just come from Saturday football. Straight away, I was like, all right, mate, yeah, been asked to give you a shout. You're looking for a centre-half, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. He hadn't seen me play.
Yeah.
And I was like, what sort of dog? Yeah, I said, what sort of dollar you got? He said, what would you want at Farnborough? And I told him I was on 140 quid centre-half, and he took me as 140. Hadn't seen me play.
Wow. Well, as a player, you're not going to... If you want the money, you're not going to ask no questions after that. You know what I mean?
Mate, it was 5 junctions closer to my house, and I was going to earn the same money and train once a week. I said, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, 100%, man. Obviously, the location and travelling, it all comes hand in hand.
But then I learned he weren't a great manager, or weren't great for me. No disrespect to him. I know we don't talk, but he wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
I ultimately weren't good for him because I was probably a bit too... Well, I think I'm older than him or same age as him. So, I don't know. Just any message out there to any non-league player, whether you think I'm a wally or not, pick your manager.
Yeah.
Do your research on the manager.
Who would you say the best manager you've played for is? And why?
Mark Hams.
Why would you say he's the best?
And I've played under Billy Smith, Tooting. I played under some decent managers.
Yeah.
But I played under Francis Vines, Joe Vines, and that's uncle. But I would say it's Mark Hams. Mark Hams would talk and listen. So he would talk you through his plans, and he would listen to what you had to say. And then if you felt that, you know, he's unfair and being dropped and whatever, he'd have that comment. I ended up being good mates with him. Really good mates with him.
So it is that thing that you was talking about earlier, really. Like, you felt that there was a mutual respect between you, but he was still the boss kind of thing. But
100%. It doesn't have to be... When people say respect, they think you've got to bow down to him. Not at all. Like, respect me as a player and respect my needs. My needs are that I need to play. I need to be loved a little bit. Yeah. But whilst that's happening, I'll always respect you regardless, because you're older than me. So that's instilled in me. But I'll respect that you're the gaffer and you've got one hell of a job on your hands. Yeah. I think players forget that managers have to deal with 20 players, whereas a player only has to deal with one manager.
Yeah, I know. That's like the catch-22 of football, is because you only learn that part after when you're the manager. Do you know what I mean? So like the players, you can tell them till you're blue in the face, but it's the experience of it. Like, they're just looking at you like, well, you're a manager. That's what you're supposed to deal with.
Why would? Yeah, like, I'd love to mention players' names, but before I get the go-ahead to mention their names in this conversation, I don't really want to mention a name, but centre midfielder, brilliant, unbelievable talent on him.
Yeah.
Going through tough times, been through tough times, probably going to go through more tough times.
Yeah.
I tried to relate to him and try and guide him. Yeah. But it was difficult because he didn't know me before the football club. So it's like, why the fuck should I listen to you? Why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
I know that's what was thinking in my head. And
that's probably a knock-on effect from experiences he's had with other managers. Do you know what I mean? So it's like some players... Sorry, your reception's breaking up.
Yeah, it's my area. You got me now?
Yeah, I got you now. Yeah, so it's like a knock-on effect, isn't it?
We're just about the sticks.
Bro, it's like a knock-on effect, because that happened to me. You'll play for a manager, and if you get 2 or 3 managers back-to-back that act a certain way, you almost start to expect it. So you kind of, when you go to a new club, you kind of have an image of what the manager's going to be like, almost. So like some kids, especially young kids nowadays, they're not really willing to give you that benefit of the doubt, because they've been let down by managers before. Do you know what I mean? And it's hard.
Yeah, 100%, because do you know what? It happens in all walks of life, though. You'll get people that assume that a certain person should be judged a certain way because they've had experience with that certain person at this particular time. Yeah. I'm not going to go into colours or professions or anything like that, but we see it every single day. So it's only not human way of being. So, right, I've had a manager that's been a bit of an arsehole. He's definitely going to be an arsehole again. Yeah. That one's going to be. He's going to be. They're all the same, and they're not. Yeah, managers go through a lot of pressure. They've got pressures of players that are not happy that they're not playing, or systems that they're playing, or the fact that they've not wear a certain shirt number. Again, they're getting pressures from the board, because the board want to see this, that, and the other. Yeah. I mean, this ain't me calling out a cry for sympathy, because I know exactly what I'm getting into, and I still go into it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I love being a manager. I love every aspect of it. I love having the problems to solve with players.
Yeah.
Just I don't like it when it doesn't work, and it hasn't worked a couple of times.
It's a funny game, football, isn't it? Because it's just it can always look good on paper. Do you know what I mean? It could always look good on paper, but there's so many variables and little bits in between it that it's just difficult to predict how a team will gel until you. Because it's funny, football, isn't it? Like if you start off with a win, mentally you've got the train going. Do you know what I mean? And now you've got to get that other win. But if you start with a loss, that's a whole different reaction that you have to have as a manager, I would imagine, because players are down. Like doubt starts to creep in in players' heads already after one loss, and it's difficult. But sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, when I started for Three Bridges, my first game in charge competitive game, I lost 5-2. I was 4-0 down at half time.
Oh, it's not a good start, mate.
And I had some experienced players in the team. So straight away, I went away from that game thinking, right, they doubt me. They doubt me. Mate, it took 8 games. We went 8 games without a win.
For real?
And then went on a run, and we turned the corner on one particular game. I had to make some changes. I had to release some players that I'd played with at Three Bridges. They were there that long. I had to get rid of about 3 or 4 players, brought in some new players, and then we went on a run of 12 games unbeaten.
Wow. So when you went on that 8-game no-win streak, was there any pressure or on terms of your not that you gave yourself, but like for like whoever the chairman is or whatever?
The manager, he was mine when I played in New York. He then gave me the job and back as chairman, and he made it clear that things have to change soon. When I got, I was given like a next game. You must get that game. If I don't get that game, it was getting like that, and I was like, anyway, end up getting this run, and then when you got that run, I then had another pressure was the club ain't ready for promotion, and we was like 8th, 7th, and whatever. We was miles from promotion because they had half a season to go or 2/3 of the season to go. All right, but I'm not gonna pull the handbrake up and change the team around so we lose. But that's for you. That's the shit you got to put up with as a manager.
I've never understood a team that's obviously no disrespect to this team. Was it Three Bridges? No disrespect. No. But there's a lot of clubs in these circumstances. I've played for a couple of them as well, and it's like they don't have the ambition to be promoted. It seems because it's like they're not ready for it. So it's like just stay in this league for now, and then we're gonna build towards that maybe in a 2 or 3 season. Why is that? Is it a financial reason?
I would like to say so there's going to be loads of reasons. It could be that certain board members, if they were ex-managers or whatever else, won't want to see you eclipse what they failed to do.
Okay. It can be.
That'd be silly. We don't even think that, but we're human at the end of the day. Some people can be envious. The other one would be that the club are not set up properly, because you get some clubs that are funded purely on the fact that chairman's got money. Then you get some clubs that get loads of sponsors in. So you imagine now, if you're a club with a chairman that funds the whole thing, you get promoted. He hasn't got enough money to continue funding at that level. So he's like, I'm happy to fund here at the minute and be like the main man in this club and blah, 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 and live within our means. And you get some clubs that are set up because they've got soccer schools and whatever else set up on their 3G or whatever. They can then go up and climb. That's why clubs are going down that route. It's whether you can sustain it. Then obviously you get the odd chairman or board member that doesn't want to see it.
So how did that season end for you then? Where did you finish?
I got a sack in February on my brother's birthday, actually. So we went on that run, that good run. Then we went on a couple other. Then we went on like, I think it was Cray away, top of the table. No one had beaten them. We were 0-0, 96 minutes. There was 6 minutes added on time. Got to 98 minutes. They scored one from about 40 yards. That beat us 1-0, and that was the end of our run. And that was the end of our run. And then we went on a run, probably about 5 or 6 games. 4 of those were literally by the odd goal against top half teams. We just couldn't get draws over the line or even get the wins. And then I had a conversation with the chairman. He's like, listen, I need 6 points out of the next 2 games. I was like, all right.
Specific like that. That's
I want 6 points out of the next 2 games. I went, all right. And what happens if then we've got to have that conversation? I don't know if it got leaked down to the players or what happened, but we got smashed both games.
Oh.
One was 4-0 and one was like 4-1.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, I come off the pitch, and he made a beeline for me, put his arm around me, went, I think we need to go and have a chat. I said, yeah, no worries, let me go and dress down the players, have a chat with them, and then he went, no, we got to have it first. I said, all right, come in, went in there, he said, look, that time's come. I said, all right, fair enough, you did give me a 6 point, you give me the marker of 6 points, and I fulfilled it. I said, but we're safe, we ain't going down. I don't get it. He was like, it's now. I knew he wanted to manage. He'd mentioned in the past that he was bored, he'd missed managing, all the rest of it. So I sort of knew it was coming. And a lot of people based around Three Bridges, Sussex and whatever else said, I can't believe you've been given that job. I don't think it's going to last. You'll miss it. Yeah. So I sort of ignored it. I was so adamant on managing.
Yeah.
So then after that, I said, all right, I just want to go and say bye then. He went, let me come in here with you. I said, just give me that last 5 minutes with the players rather than just handing over my shoulder. I think he was worried I was going to coat him off and say leave and all the rest of it. But the opposite went in. They were gutted because I had a lot of friends in there. People I knew, people I socialised with. And it was just literally, I went round the change room, give them hugs and say, listen, don't follow me out the door. I said it to my staff as well. Don't follow me out the door. Stay and play. Yeah. And if you get your move, then you get your move. But stay and play. Don't leave yourself with no club. And it was that. I was out of football till November.
Wow.
It was long, it was horrible.
But it must feel good to be back in there now, man. Like, I like South Park, man. I know they got a good reputation, a lot of fans as well. So what's your ambitions for the upcoming season? Like, what are you trying to do for this season? Have you been set yourself any objectives?
The club are like 5 years worth of planning and getting a 3G pitch down there. So in terms of like 5 year future, 5 year plan and all the rest of it, yes, we're looking to expand as a club and reach out to the community and hopefully build up a bigger family that can help us, sustain life in a higher league or life higher up in the league. So the club are well on their way in doing that. My plan is to, ultimately maintain our position in the league and build on it, push for playoffs and whatever else. But look, this pandemic has hit clubs hard. Yeah. Massively. I know a few clubs that have been hit hard, but I also know a few clubs that are flourishing, making some crazy.
Pandemic.
Sorry?
What? They're making money on the back of the pandemic?
No, just like they've not been affected by it. So whereas you imagine if I've got £100 on me and the pandemic happens and I'm all right because I've got a load of frozen food, I've got to spend my £100. You're someone that lives with fresh fruit every day. Your £100's gone. Yeah. You're gone, mate. So when we get ready to go again, I'm £100 up on you. So a lot of teams now where I would have thought the average budget throughout the league was like £1,000 or whatever it is. Yeah. I can see a lot of teams operating with like 4s and 5s, whereas there's a couple now that have still got their 1,000. So this is their year to go for it. I mean, I'll always go for it. Whether it's I've got £1 or I've got 10 grand, I'm always going to try and get the best players. I'll always call players that I know and say, listen, and I'll try and be that. I'm not a salesman, but I'll just try and be that man that I'm still trying to. I'll put it out here. I'm still trying to sign Connor French. I'm still trying to sign these sort of players. Yeah. Man. Build a good side. Yeah. But then I understand players' needs and wants, and they've got a right to. If I want a good player, why shouldn't that player want decent money?
No, 100%, and that's one of the obviously challenges of being a manager, I guess, in these circumstances. But again, I'm a firm believer. Although quality players obviously do help, sometimes it's actually how good they operate as a team. Like how are they compatible as players? Do they buy into your philosophy? Those little things, because mentally, if you're positive, it gives you an edge. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You need a good team in and around you now. South Park, when they went on that good run and played Tranmere and Trophy, they had an unbelievable spirit. I remember going there with Whiteleaf. I went there with Walton Casuals as well, and it was like, let's kick these lot. Let's come in here and bully them. You couldn't do it. There are 20 people that are raring to go, raring to fight for each other. You kick him, I'll kick you. You kick him over there, you. Yeah. And that's what I want to bring back. I want to bring back South Park, not that family club, but that club that were a group of friends that were decent at football. Yeah. I've reached out to the old squad that was in and around that run to try and bring a bit bring some values back to the club. It's worked to a certain extent. It's not worked as well as I wanted it to, in terms of I've not managed to get as many players back as I wanted to come back. But like we said earlier, if I wrote down a team on paper, I've got a fucking brilliant one. Until it's confirmed, we don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. It's difficult. If you could like sign one player of your choice right now, like with no strings attached, you could just pick one of these guys you've been chasing. Who would you pick?
So I could sign any one player. It'd have to be Kieran Lavery.
Kieran Lavery. I've heard that name.
Yes.
Who's
yeah. So he's got 400 plus appearances for South Park. Striker, unbelievable striker.
Oh, okay, yeah, and he was a part of that tramway team, right?
Yeah, he's there. He was the captain. He could play off the left, the front three. He's just a good player, all-round player.
Yeah, where was he at last year?
Horsham. So he went Dorking from South Park. Went to Dorking, and now he's at Horsham. So from last year, good player, very good player.
Yeah, I think I remember his name popping up on Twitter quite a few times when he was playing. So he must be a good player. Gets a lot of goals and whatnot. So I know a while back on the timeline there was a lot of debate, and I know that you kind of followed the Sunday scene to this extent because a lot of the players you kind of know. Just for reference, like the games that you've watched, yeah. What did you take from it in terms of the quality of the players and whatnot, and the hype that's surrounded around it? Because
I've had these conversations with Winge before.
Yeah.
And I only mention him because he's a manager or a leader of part of one of these big clubs.
Yeah.
Or big teams. I've watched a couple of games, and it might have been the weather, it might have been that time of the year.
Yeah.
I've watched Vista and Kenilworth.
Vista Kenilworth.
Yeah, this was a few seasons ago, so Vista weren't as bad as they were.
Okay, cool.
Watched Lambeth, SC Dons, and I've watched Lambeth and Portland from like a little fence because my son was playing football here.
Yeah,
I sort of like watching through. You lot covered it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you write those players down on a piece of paper, you're like, wow, I've got two non-league sides here.
Yeah.
But this is debates I've had with like Mike Hill. I've had this debate with Kai Martin. I think Spartans as well.
Yeah.
Like these boys are Sunday through and through, and they're decent, good players as well. So we had these. I'll drive with them. I'll pick them up when they're playing for me and all the rest of it. So we'd have these conversations.
Yeah.
And I'd say, listen, because there was an argument that these teams could go and win.
Yeah.
Bostik South, and I'm not having it.
Yeah.
As much to rate the scene.
Yeah, go on. I'll let you finish.
Things unbelievable. My son's 15, loves SC Don.
Yeah.
His dad's from Brixton, so I'm from South West London.
Yeah.
Doesn't care about Brixton United, Lambeth All Stars, or anything. He's all about SC Dons. Loves Lefty, the fact that I'm Lefty's pal and all the rest of it. He loves all of that, and that's what I like. That such a small football team can reach out to so many people. My son goes to school in Woking.
Yeah.
And they've touched out there. The whole school talking about SC Dons and
they're national, man. They're national.
Yeah. It is brilliant, and I find it hilarious. I don't watch their channels, and I don't really get involved too much with their videos and all the rest of it. I roll my eyes a lot of the time. It might be my age.
Yeah.
But look, I'm all for it. I think it's brilliant, so long as it's still as positive as it is. And you know, you've got South West London going over to South East, and there's no aggro, and South East can come over to South. There's no fighting, all that rubbish.
Yeah. 100%.
You can get each other's faces and wind each other up with your 2-1 down. I think it's brilliant, and hats off to the boys, because you got some lumps in those teams that could probably cause some harm if they wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, as soon as they cross that line, it's shake hands and we'll get on with it.
There we go.
But there's some good sides out there. Portland surprised me.
So like, when you was talking, you saying, on paper you got some two non-league sides there. So I'm gonna throw like a scenario at you, yeah.
Yeah.
So on paper, you would look at this team and be like, I've got two good teams here if there was a non-league. But then obviously when you watched the performance, you wasn't too impressed or whatever.
Yeah, I wasn't playing the game.
Yeah, if you took those players and took them into the Saturday circuit though, do you think they could still perform to the potential you saw on paper? So let's
pick a team.
Okay, let's say SC Dons or Lambeth All Stars. Because for me, I've said it publicly on Twitter as well. For me, I think they're not going to win the league maybe, but I think they're competing in the top half.
But right, so my argument is right. Let's start with Lambeth.
Lambeth, yes, start with Lambeth.
Right, so their players are all youth. So to make them a non-league side, let's say they've registered and they're a non-league side now. So obviously they don't share players with any other teams and all the rest of it.
Yeah. So imagine they just came South Park.
Right, so I took that whole team and put them in South
The whole
Park.
team and you put them in South Park.
I'll be happy. Windsor, cool. Listen, the reason why I say they can't do what they're doing is because they don't train together. They might train every now and then, a group of 10 of them playing 10v10 with, or 7v7 with someone else.
I get
but you've got to have structure.
I get you.
You've got to have structure.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Hats off to anyone that can manage a Sunday side.
Yeah.
I was asked to manage one of the Sunday sides.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I mentioned it on the show. And I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, okay.
I didn't knock them back because they weren't good enough, because they're a brilliant side and they're probably one of the most successful sides out of the teams that we're talking about.
Okay.
In terms of the League One and Cup One and all the rest of it. And they've got some players in there.
Yeah.
The reason why I turned it down was because I would want people at training. I couldn't just turn up on a Sunday with a burger in my hand and a cup of tea and pick a team. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I was cheating somehow. Like, who am I picking a team when I don't even put nothing back into the side, i.e. hold sessions and the rest of it? I know that some teams now train on a Saturday or do some set piece on a Saturday and whatever else, but I mean, whilst they're Sunday sides, if you go and get Lambeth All-Stars now and put them in a friendly against, I don't know, Hastings, they wouldn't beat Hastings. Hastings will beat them. They might, if you go and put them in 10 friendlies, they might win 5 of them. Yeah. You put them in the league right now with their same structure, not train or anything like that, they'll be floating down the bottom somewhere.
Yeah, so I get you. I get your angle now. So your angle is pretty much, you're not knocking their ability as individual players.
No way. I signed 3 of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I just want to get that message across. I want to get across, because you know sometimes people can look at that and be like, oh, he thinks that we're shit footballers. Do you know what I mean? But like, you're not saying that shit footballers. You're saying that they don't train. They haven't got that structure. But yeah, like you said, they haven't got that structure of train, routine, and trying to achieve something. They're coming together as friends, not for a jolly up, but like it's kind of like a social. That's your angle.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're trying to achieve things. SC Dons, Portland, they all are trying to win the Nationals. I've seen all that in their leagues and their local rivalries. They're trying to win stuff like that. I get that, and I don't knock that. I think it's brilliant. But without sounding disrespectful, stay in your lane. You've got Sunday teams. Until you want to take it that way, and I don't think they need to, because they all play for decent Saturday sides, decent non-league sides. Okay. I mean, when it first popped up on the timeline, it was someone that was playing at Conference South that had the row of them. Yeah. And you lot ain't know, because someone that tweeted will beat most non-league sides. Now I know that person tweeted that meant step 5 to step 4. Yeah. I know. You weren't talking about step 1 and step 2 and step 3. That's a different kettle of fish. Yeah. No, you throw Trey Wanderers into any of those leagues, they win every single game. Yeah, no, because the thing is, now that you've explained your angle, I get it, because I'm looking at it from another angle. I'm thinking if LA went Saturday to a Saturday league and trained like a Saturday team, then they will be able to compete in those leagues based on the players. Coaches that set out certain ways of playing. Yeah, I've watched games and it's got to a point where it's like, right, we're knackered. This is SC Dons. We're knackered. What we do is we'll pump it up to Zach and see what Zach can get in behind him. And you know, if Zach gets him behind the back 4 and he's left with the keeper, he's going to score without sucking him off, because I know a lot of people do. That's what's going to happen. And that's how their game tends to go. Whereas they regularly get by their feet. Listen, I'm a massive backer of Sunday football. I know I don't get to enough games. That's purely because of the life I live at the minute. It's manic with work, manic with my own football. If I could see me leaving the house to go football again on a Sunday, she'd be going mental. Yeah, I can imagine, man. But like, this is why I like having these type of conversations, because what I've realised today from your angle is we're pretty much saying the same thing, but from just 2 different standpoints. So you're saying if you're playing on just Sundays, you can't come with a Sunday routine to our Saturday teams that's been training since August. Whereas I'm saying with the players they have at their disposal, if they was to train full-time or part-time like a Saturday team, they have the ability to compete in those leagues. So we're pretty much saying the same thing. So you're saying they need structure. I'm saying, I'm imagining if they already had structure. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's an interesting conversation, and I'm still trying to get that exclusive of what team offered you that the manager's
Do you
job.
know, it must have been a time where, I'll tell you who it is. It must have been a time when Pitt was going to stop managing or whatever it was. But Francois had come to me and said, look, do you want to jump in here and do some management and blah, blah. And I was like, geez, I haven't got the time. Like, I would love to, 'cause I love you boys. But I just haven't got the time. So it was to get involved.
That's a very good club, to be honest. So what you're saying is correct in terms of like what.
Yeah, I couldn't commit. The last thing I wanted to do was be a bit part and then lose credibility, lose my own credibility. People would think, he's a messer.
Yeah, no. So what do you feel the impact that Twitter, not Instagram more so, it's more so Twitter because that's where people are more vocal and throw their opinions out there. What impact does that have with you as a Saturday manager? And hello?
Yes, I've got people trying to call me.
Oh god.
Sorry, mate.
That's cool. Yeah. So what impact does that have on you as a Saturday manager? And like, what's your opinion on like Sunday? Because you know Sunday's now building their own scene, so to speak. So do you feel that has a negative impact on you as a manager for a Saturday team? Whereas, because you've got relationships with some of these players, so it can get a bit political, I can imagine, in terms of like what people tweet on. Do you know what I mean? They can tweet, and
I mean, I sort of get what I'm hoping I get what you're coming from. So I'm going to make a comment here. Yeah. You often get a player that has a good couple of games, or is a good technical player, and whatever else. Yeah. He's doing really well at Sunday in the Sunday team. Yeah. Will then expect and think that all the doors will open up at Saturday football.
Okay.
And I've had players that will believe the hype. And I'm not here to say that they shouldn't believe the hype, but you're playing against people that are probably worse than me. I'm 37 years old with an ACL tear, and I'm better than half those centre backs they come up against. I know where I am. I know I could go, if I lose another half a stone and get on my bike again, I know I can go and play Sunday football comfortably. Yeah. But you can't explain it to a young player who's been told you are an absolute baller. You're this, you're that. He then comes to me, why not start? Because he should believe the hype, and I'm all for positivity, but you need to be real at the same time. And listen, like, it is, my old dear.
That's cool, bro.
He's gone. But, so it can affect Saturday football. It can affect it massively. I don't care about players playing on a Sunday. You've got some managers that are saying for us, you can't play Sunday because we want to try and win the league, and I don't want to.
Yeah. You've been open about that. You blatantly said that you don't mind your players playing Saturday, which I respect. Sunday rather, I respect that.
Is it because it's a load of rubbish? The only type of injury you're going to like to pick up is a knock. It's like someone physical, break your leg or whatever. Pulling hammies and that, as long as that player looks after himself. Listen, you've got pro footballers doing it every day, barring two. They play 5 times a week. Yeah. So why can't we expect our players to train twice a week for 2 hours, play an hour and a half match if he's not playing 90 minutes, and then again on a Sunday? Let him, as long as he recovers well and looks after himself. If he doesn't, he's not on contract. Well, he's not going to get paid for the next time he's not in the team. Yeah. So just let him get on.
So just to play devil's advocate, in terms of what you're saying about the players and the oppositions they're playing against. Some of these teams that they're playing against, let's say that I'm a centre midfielder, and then I'm playing against another midfield of players that are playing right in south or above, let's just say. I know there's some teams that have that type of caliber player in their midfield. Yeah. And you have a good game.
Yeah.
Can you forgive a player for thinking to themselves they can play at that level? Because in their head, they've just played against...
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course. But on a week in, week out, the average is you're going to play against someone like me. But I've been there with these players. I've played a game, pre-season when you get these big clubs coming down to play you. Yeah. And I've played against these players. Like, I think it was at Walton Casuals and Kay's come down to play us. And Andre McCollum was hot stuff down there at the time. And I'm not saying he ain't now, but he's coming to the end of his football.
Yeah.
And then we beat 1-0, and I was up against him, marking him. I come away from it thinking I can play at that level, so I know what it's like. But can you play at that level week in, week out? No, because if I played against him again, if I played against him next week, he probably scored a hat-trick against me.
Yeah,
I had a good game.
Yeah. So what does a Martin Diamond team play like? Because because I asked this to all the managers because it's interesting to me because there's like a new trend of how people play football. So now all these teams are trying to play out the back, like Barcelona, which I respect. That's how I like viewing that. But I can't ask every manager that and they all say the same thing because clearly not everyone's playing that way. Do you know what I mean? So what does
I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, what does a dining team set up like? What are you trying to get from your team? Like,
I'm looking for a team that's hard to beat, first and foremost.
Okay.
Like off the ball, we want that ball off of you. If we're too far away to press, we'll block up and try and congest the pitch in the right areas.
Okay.
On the ball, I tend to not give too much information to my players when they've got the ball.
Okay.
I trust them that part.
Okay.
So long as they do the other part, and I've always said it to, I've got players like Kai Martin, I had Mike Hill. Nice. Yeah, these are players, and they've never been trusted to do the other part. They've always been knocked off for saying, they don't work hard enough off the ball. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I got it out of them. Mate. There's some games, if you've seen Mike Hill and Kai, when they turn it on...
it's irresistible. And you're probably going to say it's the consistency, though, because that's what's going to stand out.
But on the ball, you can't fault them, because the way they are with the ball is... I'd only wish I could do certain things that they do. The way Mike can hit a ball, the way Kai can manipulate a ball. It's getting that other part off the ball. Now, what I'm talking about, when they were on it, off the ball, I didn't even have to say nothing to him. There was a game away at Northwood, and Mike held his wrist in that game and carried on playing through the paint. I'm sure it was Northwood. But he run that game, run it. And I was like, finally, I've got this geezer. And then he went over on his wrist. Someone stood on his wrist, broke his wrist. And I lost him for 6-7 weeks. And I was like,
oh my
God. But that flash there, he can go and play a league higher.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. But
do it consistent.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? Now that you say that, and that guy, man, I swear the injuries are just he's cursed with injuries, man. It's just a shame, man, because that's how football works, because you may not have the best 6 games in a run, and you may not be performing to your potential in your head or your manager's head. But when you have that game where okay, I've reached my expectations of myself now, and the manager's seen it and he's appreciating it. The confidence comes, and then you build on that. And it's a shame that he didn't get the chance to carry on the rhythm and hit the next game, because coming back after an injury, it's a whole nother.
We're coming into a side that we're on a couple of bad games as well. So it's almost like I'm forcing him back. And at one point I thought, let me not force him back. He's then forcing himself back. So I'm like, you're not ready. And I feel for Mike. He's massively misunderstood. I had some bad feedback from managers when I signed him, and I thought, fuck, I've heard that with Frenchie, and I've got Frenchie, and I've heard that with a couple of other players. His time will come. He's been unlucky. He's got to see himself through, and hopefully stay injury free, and he'll go and just clock up games. That's the best advice I can give players. Clock up games at that level, whether it's step 5, step 4, wherever it is. If you think you should be playing higher, go to the level you're going to play loads of games, and you'll nick that move. Don't go too quick.
I know, 100% agree with that, man. So, I know you're close friends with Daryl. So I think that's look, he's smiling. I know that's a close friend of yours, and he's played under you for a while as well. Where do you rate his ability? Because for me, ability-wise and versatility-wise, he surely is someone you'd look at. Obviously, maybe not now. I'm not sure how old he is, but you can look at him and you can tell that he's come from a higher setup kind of thing. And he plays Sunday League as well. So it's like they got high quality players playing for the Sunday League. Yeah.
Do you know what it is with the Sunday thing, right? It almost seems like it started with a couple of players that couldn't get into the side at Saturday level. Okay. And then got their mates in, and then they got more mates in, and they're having a jolly up. They still have a jolly up. I've smelt what they're smoking at half time. So and I'm not going to do that in non-league. It's a jolly up. Yeah. That's why another reason why I say they can't come in there and try and beat teams in the level and blah blah, because they're gonna have to throw all that out the window. They can't be drinking shots of rum and that at half time because it's a giggle, and it is a giggle. Yeah. But Daryl, getting back to Daryl I will always try and sign Daryl.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And Daryl knows that, and so do his previous managers that have had him. They know that the moment Martin gets a job or whatever, Martin's coming for him.
Yeah.
And I've had it with Guildford, I've had it with Sutton Common Rovers. Had the right conversations with the managers at the time, and made sure I've done things properly. Daryl, I don't know if you know this, but his first ever senior football, he started playing at the back with me. He was my centre-back partner.
Yeah.
So we played together for a season, and then
Was that at Guildford?
That was at Walton Casuals. We were playing step 4. And then I sort of seen, I was like, wow, he's got ability, he can play higher. I knew then that when Farnborough, I'd left Farnborough and come to Walton Casuals for the first time. They was in Conference South.
Yeah.
My brother was there, and I was like, I knew they were looking for a centre half and a forward.
Yeah.
I said, geez, you need to have a look at that. You need a centre half, young, quick, wicked on the ball, composed, just needs to work on his heading and whatever else, and reading the game, but he's young. I think 18 at the time. They went in, got him, took him Conference South.
Wow.
They went in and got Frenchie as well, actually. I said about Frenchie. Frenchie was with us as well, just left Alajamlet. They went and got Frenchie as well, both at Conference South. So, yeah, Daryl, for me, he's played centre-back, he's played right-back, he's played centre-mid, holding, he's played centre-mid, box-to-box, he's played wide of a front.
Play him anywhere, man.
Wide of a front. I think he got about 10 penalties in 15 games.
Yeah, he's the best diver I've seen in my life.
He gives Tom Daly a run for his money.
But what I was going to say again, you know, I love playing devil's advocate, and obviously I know you was talking about the Sunday meeting, and I would agree to you to an extent, because I don't think it's where it has to be at for it to be considered in the light that I'm probably portraying it. But the progression it's making, I feel like in 2 or 3 years, because I think this year specifically, a lot of players that maybe saw it as a jolly up are now training hard because they want to show what they can do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think maybe in 2 or 3 years, it could be an area where people actually, it's another circuit of showing what you can do, and teams take it serious to an extent, I guess.
Do you know what? Credit to SC Dons, yourselves, and those others that film games and interview players and interview managers and sort of highlight what they're about. Listen, I played Sunday football, 15 years ago. I was playing Sunday football. Okay. And I would turn up on a Sunday, like smashed from the night before. Yeah. I probably had about an hour's sleep. Yeah. I was playing for Brixton United under Kaz, or now Brixton AFC. Yeah, I know Kaz well. So he would kiss his teeth and push my back of my head and that, say, what you doing and blah, blah. But that's where Sunday football was for me. Yeah. Up to now, fast forward to now, if we come up against Lambeth All-Stars back then, or we came up against SC Dons, we would have got battered. Yeah, you'd have got smashed, smashed, because we was all drunk and I was eating like sausage sandwiches while I was putting my kit on. Yeah, like, we would have got smashed. 100% agree with you, man. What I would say is, even when I played, because I'm old as well, believe it or not, got a baby face. But when I was playing back in the day, I would agree with your statements when you're talking about playing against people that are blatantly not in your physical, like it's too easy to an extent. Yeah. But I also remember playing against, you know, there's always that maybe 2-3 fixtures in a season where you know, okay, this team are serious. You know what I mean? Like there was a team called The Lounge. I remember we used to have real life, proper levels games with them. Like, and we played, there's a couple others, but nowadays I feel like, especially with the cameras, there's a lot of pressure on players because they know this is going out to the world. Not everyone's going to watch it, obviously, but it's open to the world. It's going to go on the internet. And like they want to perform. And I feel like, especially these like OBDSFL specifically, I would say, not to put any of the others down, the level that they're playing at is, especially next year, like what I'm hearing about how people are training and who they're signing, the levels are going to be very good. I'm expecting. That's my expectation. You know? Yeah, like going back to what you originally said about the progression as well in a couple of years' time, it's shown that already from like the time we played up until now. It's shown that already. It's only going to get better with the more exposure. Yeah. Players want to be exposed. Players want show reels. Yes. Even if they don't get show reels, they've got you guys filming them. Yes. You might go and watch Dogshit Rovers versus Lambeth All-Stars. Like there might be a player there who does this trick over, step over, spin round, blah, blah, all the rest of it. You're going to retweet it. Everyone's going to retweet it. He's a winner. His mates are going to see that. Oh, let me come down there next year. Exactly. No matter where he's playing at non-league, because not all non-league clubs are getting covered.
Yeah, or vice versa. A non-league manager might see that and be like, do you know what? There's no harm in letting him come training. And
Mate, I do. I do. I'm not afraid.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit I do it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of diamonds out there. There's a lot of diamonds that obviously the hard bit is probably shining those diamonds to the way you want them. You know what I mean? Like turning it to what you see in them, because maybe not so much with yourself because you understand a bit more, you're a bit younger. But some other managers, that communication barrier is a bit too big to jump sometimes. Again, I'm not.
Yeah, I think the risk for managers on Saturday, so we'll say Saturday rather than non-league because we know that conference are. But the difficulty for us is there's a player there that plays for Portland, unbelievable player.
Yeah.
But will he be able to knock all the other bits on the head when he comes to us, i.e. being a class clown? Because there was a player that was interested. Mm-hmm. He plays at a level below me. Mm-hmm. But I've done my research. It was like, geez, on his days, unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Will he turn up late for training? Yes. Will he miss training? Possibly. And I need to get away from that. Yeah. I can't have 20 players I'm trying to nurture into non-league players. I need to have 17 and three gambles. I can't have 20 gambles.
100%. I agree with you. But that responsibility falls on the player though themselves, I think. Yeah. And I can understand from a manager's perspective, it's going to be a risk, and you can't take a risk on everyone. Do you know what I mean? Because then you're only putting yourself in the shit. But I 100% agree with what you're saying. I'm just hoping in 2 or 3 years. I mean, this season coming up, I really want to come out like I was talking to you not too long ago. I want to come and do some bits and watch South Park play and just highlight that area as well, because I'm pretty sure that obviously it's a different scene to the Sunday league rather, but even players at that level, that there's diamonds in the rough there that should be playing higher. Do you know what I mean? Like and they need exposure as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting just to see what type of players are out there. Like just from what you've seen this year in Ryman South, was there any players that you looked at and said, you know what, they're too good for this league, they need to kick on?
100%. A young player, I can't remember his name, Sebastian something or other. Is it Sebastian Bracknell? Yeah. He should be playing 2 levels above at least.
Really?
I think he wouldn't need to move, but I think he's on really good money down there. Yeah. Bracknell, I hear rumours. I'm not going to sit here and say Bracknell got loads of money. I hear that they've got loads of money. Yeah. They run like a full camp aimed at a lot of Americans, so Americans registered to come over here and do all the rest of it and pay a lot. But there was one player standout for me. It was him.
What position is he? Like a winger?
Yes, he played wider midfield, but he weren't. Yeah, he played like a 4-4-2. Like, mate, he was 1 minute he was on the right hand side, then he was on the left hand side, then he was central, then he was in a 10. He got everywhere. He scored against us when we beat them 4-2 at our place, and then he scored again when they beat us 4-0.
Yeah, now when you got players like that are floating around, if they're good, it's just hard to eliminate them from the game. Innit?
I don't know what position he was.
Yeah, they probably
tell you.
Float. They probably just let him do what he wants.
Good player, young as well.
Yeah,
but
and that's what I mean. I really want to come and just see just the environment. It'd be good to like see the difference, because again, it's important that gets documented so that people can visually see the different environments, what it takes and what the commitments are.
Yeah, they can make a judgment then when they're shouting out Saturday will dominate Sunday and all of it. Let's see if that is the case. And when people say Saturday's a lot more professional than Sundays, is it? Yeah. Or does it seem, are all clubs as professional as that club? Or like our club, like South Park was already given the green light for Urfreshtv to get involved and come down.
I can't wait, man. I really do want to come down. Especially, it'll be good to catch, because obviously you've been on our podcast, now interviewing me. It'll be good to see you on match day, or training as well, and come down, just document it, and I think it's good for the people to see. It's good for our platform and followers to see, and it's good for the young kids that maybe follow us on the Sunday scene to also see, what Saturday scene can be like and train and what it takes, because it's not easy, man, because waking up and getting picked up by your friend at 9 a.m. in the morning is not much hard work. But like when you have to go travel however long, and it's long nights, and you've maybe worked as well, that's a whole different struggle. Do you know what I mean?
It is. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of commitment. In the other leagues, you could be at Ramsgate on a Tuesday night, just after you could have just had a shift where you're covering for someone that's on leave, and your manager's been giving you a hard time all day. You end up being late for the game. Your football manager gives you a hard time because you're late.
Yeah.
It is tough. It's taxing. It takes a lot to be able to commit to it. And that's not me trying to take anything away from Sunday football, because again, Sunday football, if you want to win, you want to do well, you got to sacrifice your Saturday nights.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm with you. And just to wrap up, I think I've covered everything I've wanted to, obviously, in depth as well. Just to wrap up, I was going to propose a question to you. Yeah, you can sign one Sunday League player.
I thought that'd be free, but go on one.
Oh, not free. You can have free. I'll give you free. You can sign one Sunday League player. Who would it be and why? I think I know what you're going to say. That's why I'm tempted to say free now, because this guy's name always pops up, and I don't want to just.
Everyone's Zach Ansah, don't they?
Yeah, everyone's going to say Zach Ansah, I would imagine.
Everyone.
Like he's clearly, no disrespect to other Sunday League players, but he's clearly the top player on whether
he is
Saturday or Sunday.
You know what's funny, right? Is when we had Hive, when I was at South Park, we had Hive at home, and they went 2-0 up, and I was like, and he hadn't really done much in the game. We'd worked around.
Dangerous. That's when he's at his most dangerous.
Mate, worked around keeping him quiet. We sort of, because I played against him and seen what it's about. It's like, keep him at bay, blah blah. So we sort of worked that out. Yeah. We got into the game 2-2, and I thought, right, I'll nick a point at a minute here. Yeah. Mate, he was about 40 yards out.
That's the problem.
He just picked the ball up.
Yeah.
Looked like he weren't bothered. Looked up, bosh, top corner, straight on the game. I could have run on the pitch and strangled him. I was fuming. It happened. But I mean, and I don't want to be this manager that says, nah, don't work hard enough for me. Nah. Yeah. But it does come down to that because of the style that I set up. And I set up like a quick press. And it doesn't mean high press, and it means the moment possession's lost, I want to see your tail up and you're on it again. So, listen, I would have it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Would he be the one non-league player I want?
Sunday League?
One Sunday League player I want? Nah.
Well, that's a surprise. Well, then you can have one. I'll give you one then, because I thought you were going to pick Zach Ansah, to be honest.
It's hard. It's hard because I'm an idiot because he's a goal scorer, and that's what you want goal scorers for.
Yeah,
like I know how important it is.
You hit the nail on the head, though. It's because of how you set up. And football, I mean, there's opinions everywhere, man. Like from when one of the best managers in Mourinho can look at Kevin De Bruyne and say, "Nah, sell him on." Like who's exempt? No one's exempt. People have their own ideologies and ideas, but
I mean,
there's no right and wrong.
No, I'm a big fan of Hamilton. A big fan of him.
Yeah, he's quality.
But that's because I know you need a monster in the centre of the park and a monster that can play. Quality. So,
do you know what?
I only first saw him when I watched when Winge got the 2 goals against SC Dons. Man, he took liberties. He was just everywhere.
Liberties. He was strong everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing is, because the way he was playing, he was forcing. I know lefty likes to come deep and pick the ball, but he's forcing lefty deeper. Like, he wasn't giving lefty much space. Yeah. Credit to lefty, he let whatever was happening and still got onto the ball as much as he needs to get to the ball. But I'd probably take Hamilton.
Yeah, no, that's a. Do you know what? That's a very good shout, man. Because even I was promoting him today, and it's funny because in a lot of my interviews, like I like to play devil's advocate. Yeah, so I always feel like some of the best players that are best suited to go higher are not in the positions to highlight. So, for example,
he play higher.
Yeah, like see Hamilton, he's not someone that's necessarily going to get the headlines.
He's not going to get the goals.
But he'll sit there and he can dictate games for you. And when it gets rough, because of his frame and his size, he can still handle that. And he's got such a good touch to control the ball, he can still do it. So I'm actually going to end on that question. Do you believe, like in the non-league circuit, like in Saturday football, let's just say Saturday ball, that because it's not being documented as much, the only way players are getting moves is by goals. So that's.
I would say a lot more strikers are getting moves than any other position because of goals. Goals win games, and goals are documented on non-league paper, on Twitter. You never get a tweet where it says, "Great I don't know, a great breakup from Hamilton, blah, blah, and then he gets 20, 30,000 retweets.
Exactly.
It's usually a cracker or and I mean, non-league is screaming. Yeah, Saturday football's screaming out for a Urfreshtv, screaming out for it. There's the replay that we got down at Three Bridges to film our game. You know, they're literally just filming the games and they cut it up how you need to cut it. But to have someone, I know you got Mickey Sullivan doing one of I can't remember what his show's called.
I think it's Periscope in it. I don't know. I'm not sure the name, but I think it's.
Yeah, I haven't quite caught onto. But I don't think he films the games. He films himself commentating the games. But I don't know, because of rights. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. I'm sure he interviews like the managers after and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. I think Saturday's football's literally screaming out for someone to document it. I mean, we're gonna be trying to highlight it this season, but I mean, there's loads of other areas. We're not gonna be able to cover all of it. I think other people need to start documenting Saturdays.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, it comes down to finances and sponsors. I mean, for you to secure a really good sponsor, that allows you to then employ 3 or 4 cameramen that can go and film the games and come back to you, right? You know, bigger projects, and you know. If it did work, I'd be all over it. I'd be there to support you guys as much as I could, because good for you, good for football.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I just hope it's good, man. You start little and you end big, man. So it's like, if we can highlight and hopefully, because people are not going to be able to invest in it until they see the benefits of it. Do you know what I mean? So if we can start here in our hometown, and hopefully, because I strongly believe there's a lot of diamonds out there that can play higher, and I know there's like variable like mentality and stuff like these are things you can't see on the pitch. If you see someone skinning a left back and curling at top corner, you're like, he's a good player. If he's not committed, you don't know what his mentality is like, you don't know what his like social life's like, and it's not until you maybe sign them that you find those things out. But it's important. I still think that there's a lot of diamonds out there. If you give them the platform, give them the opportunity, then it's on their shoulders kind of thing. They do
100%.
But yeah, man, thanks a lot for taking time out to come on and interview, man. It's been very interesting, because I feel like you've shed a light from your perspective a lot more. That'll help a lot of people maybe understand perspective, and hopefully in the future you can see a Sunday team against a Saturday team and document that and see what happens.
I've been waiting for myself to get called out online about put a friendly up, but just wait till I've built my pod together first, and then I'll maybe invite a team down. When we get our 3G, maybe invite LA Lambeth All Stars. That would be good, man. No pressure, man, because this is a work in progress, isn't it? So it's not gonna happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, thanks a lot again. What I'll do is I'm gonna cut this up and then I'm gonna throw this up tomorrow or Wednesday. Yep, no worries, mate. Yeah? Alright, my bro. Enjoy your night, yeah? Good luck, mate. Keep up the good work. Love. Bye-bye, mate.